Hello everyone, I'm Phoenix Tremaine and this is my review of Ruthless Episode 2, The Precious Jewel. Now, first, if you haven't done so, please take a minute to subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. Please take a minute to also hit that like button, because every time you hit that like button, lets YouTube know this is a good video for people that are looking for reviews. Now, let's get right to it. I was very excited about Ruthless Episode 1. I immediately began recommending it to people, and hopefully you've already seen that review. So I couldn't wait to get to Episode 2. And here we go. Take it to my notes. Lynn is drugged, and she sees her dead child. Now, I'm a little confused in this episode, because I thought Lynn was going to get killed or something, or be held prisoner, but maybe it was her military training or training as a police officer or both. They kept her on point that no matter how many drugs they gave her, that she was actually focused enough to stick to her story so that they didn't kill her. And interesting enough, and we'll get back to this for what happens in the third episode, but I think it was very important that she mentioned her dead child, because it turns out she actually had an abortion. And during her drug-induced state, she saw her what would have been her child. And, with all the drugs in her system, she also felt like she was on this amazing, wonderful journey. And we didn't know what happened to her until the end of the show. So then we also had Callie, who still wants to go home. And then Ahaz changes her name to Ruby. So it's just like slave masters, your name ain't Kunta Kinte, So he decides that Callie is now named Ruby, and the girl resists, but her mother gets her to stop and eventually take her away, letting her know she'll love the compound. Ruth becomes an elder, and there's an interesting scene where she's being washed. Now, because of the tatas we got episode 1, I was like in the tub, like we get some areola or something. You're spoiling me. You were spoiling me in episode 1. But the elders washed her, and I'm sure a person who's coming from a situation where she was on drugs and felt really down about herself, that all of these little mind control tricks and different things that he's doing is to make her feel elevated in a way that if she doesn't want to lose that. Tally is demoted and she's punished, and they basically kick her and hit her with sticks, and she's down there crying, and then Andrew comes in, and he tries to get him to stop, but when they let him know that they're gonna have to tell the highest and get the con, that he's like, okay, finish. Because she only had like 7 whacks left or something, and like 3 kicks or something. So, they finish punishing her, and she just doesn't want to be touched. She's upset, and she's ready to go. She's ready to escape. But they also made an interesting reveal in this. One, I like that they showed that Andrew was showing emotion, that Tally got hurt, and he was very, it showed that he's not so far gone or deep into it, that he still showed compassion, but he's caught between a rock and a hard place because he is in this environment. And then, just when you start to feel for like Andrew and Tally and this potential romance that could blossom into something a little bit more, you find out he's got a wife and a kid. So Andrew has been deep undercover, and his wife is pissed. Their kid's birthday is coming up, and she ain't heard from him in like 3 months or 3 weeks, something like that. And I think it was 3 weeks. And so, she's like, if you don't do something, I'm just going to go down there and get him. Which, now, she had this, her attitude is really way too close to Lynn, with these aggressive black female characters who are defying common sense he's undercover. If you go down there banging on the doors like, I'm here for my husband, that can get both of you killed. So, these women are aggressive, and in some ways that is an admirable thing for them to fight for their man and want to get their man and everything, or for Lynn to want to help the kids. But we also gotta hope that these characters also develop some common sense and being practical. That's like your husband is a DEA agent and he's deep into the drug cartel, and then you're like, you know what? I'm tired of him over there with the drug cartel. I don't care about your mission. I'm just gonna go get him. No, that defies common sense, and that's something that could have them throw her in jail or something, just so she doesn't interfere in a federal investigation. So, which is a possibility that in real life that could have happened. Um, we didn't get the tatas in this episode, but what we did get was Mac throwing off the F bomb. So for me, I haven't seen everything that Tyler Perry has done, but for me, I feel like Ruthless being on BET Plus has given Tyler freedom he hasn't had before. We got a little sound of it in Netflix with A Fall from Grace, where you saw Mehcad Brooks almost naked in the scene. So we got to see a different type level of nudity. And that's kind of what surprised me about seeing Lynn naked in the first episode, is because we didn't see the girl that Mehcad Brooks' character was supposed to be having sex with. She got her clothes on, basically, and he's completely naked, which didn't visually make sense to me for that scene. So to me, BET Plus, they're pushing the envelope. They're trying to get people to pay this, is either $7.99 or $9.99. I can't remember what I paid. I paid through Amazon. I can't remember what I paid. But you know, getting people to get another streaming service under any circumstances is hard. I know, because I have a streaming service. So they're pulling out all the stops, and I can appreciate it, just like I can appreciate I'm a writer, so I can also appreciate the freedom that a writer has to be able to do almost anything they want to do, without the restrictions of, let's say, broadcast television. They solved the problem of the stolen truck by having, I don't remember ever hearing the boy having a name, but they went and said that the boy was the one who stole the truck, and that he was dressed like a girl, and they were keeping him in like this. It looked like a safe, really. It was like a wooden cage that he was kept in, and you know, he put on the girl's clothes. He said that he did it. And the white folks are like, they know it was a girl who did it, and they suspect something's going on at the compound. And so the sheriff arrives, and the sheriff is like a scaredy, you know, scared kind of guy. So he doesn't want to shake things up. You know, he ain't got time to be going down there trying to. People got freaking rifles and whatnot at the gates. He ain't trying to mess with them. He's trying to leave them right where they are. But he offers to not put the boy in jail, but to alleviate the minds of the white folks that are at the house, and possibly his own curiosity, he asks, can he visit? And like Hans is like, sure, you can visit, which will eventually become a big thing. The sheriff is scared of Rakadushi, but doesn't want to do anything other than compound. Just read my note again. Lynn turns up at the home and shows that use of an interesting. Okay, this is what my note was trying to say. Okay, so we didn't know what happened to Lynn, so I was genuinely shocked when she was at the house when her husband got there, and it was beautiful and visually stunning. Her bathed in the purple lights, the flowers, even the colors of the different drugs he was blowing in her face. It was just a scene that kind of caught me off guard. So I loved it in a cinematography way. You know, the art director, once again, I said, did a good job. I don't know if it's Tyler himself or you know, who came up with that concept. But even in A Fall from Grace, I thought the flower the firefly scene was very nice, as well as the colors outside of the I almost say cafe, the restaurant they were at, the diner they were at. I love those colors, and I also love the firefighter. I used to be a firefighter. Firefly scene. I really enjoyed that too. So I've noticed in the first episode where they bathed Lynn and her husband in this blue light. So there's like dark shadows and it bathed in this blue light. And I like the comparative and contrast. So I feel like more attention is being put into detail when it even comes to the scenes. So I'm really happy with that. Keep it coming. And when they find Lynn, he puts her in the shower and tries to wake her up and things like that. And like I said, I was a firefighter. And when we come to the scene when somebody's OD'd or whatever, well, that's one of the first signs we know what's going on. Is because, like, why are they wet? Why are they in a bathtub full of ice? Why are their clothes like this? What's going on? There's ice everywhere. And that's what a lot of people do when people OD. They put them in the cold water. They try to wake them up. And that's what her husband tried to do to her. He then got notified by Green, can't remember his name, but the other FBI agent. I remember Matt calling him Green and telling him that there's a van out there that they're watching, that I'll take her, and you need to just be cool and meet me at the hospital. So all of that went down. And that's pretty much where we left off in episode 2. I'm good. That's all of my notes. So all in all, it was a good episode. It carried the show further into the storyline. Gave us some things we weren't quite expecting, like finding Lynn in the bed like that, finding out that Andrew has a wife. And I've already seen episode 3, so I'm about to do that video next. And yeah, I really enjoyed episode 1. I thought episode 2 was interesting, and episode 3 is also really good, and I'm going to talk about that in the next video. So catch me there. And thank you for watching.